Ichiro will become the first player born in Japan to be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. 3,089 hits make this day certain.
Number 3,000 for the one, the only, the remarkable Ichiro.
Why Ichiro avoids weightlifting? That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of Live Wiser, Not Smarter. Do you know Ichiro Suzuki, who used to play for Seattle Mariners? He was a Major League Baseball player. And when he played baseball, he always did this before going to his batter's box. I wonder what he is doing. Well, I will reveal what he is doing later on, but Ichiro Suzuki was elected to the Hall of Fame in baseball recently, and now he is in a spotlight. And I shared with you about Ichiro in my video before called Why I'd Exercise Like Ichiro in 2025 for Longevity Strength Training. Because he has a unique style of exercising called BMLT, which is beginning movement load training. And he avoids doing weightlifting, especially muscle hypertrophy exercise. So exercise that is aiming muscle hypertrophy, he avoids doing it. So why doesn't Ichiro think weightlifting is good? I mentioned the reason a little bit in my last video too, but not so much in detail because I shared with you the views of other like Japanese martial artists or healing artists and so on. Plus, I didn't have enough vocabulary to explain Ichiro's reason. I mean, at that time, I couldn't really translate what he was saying, but this time I checked. And so I will share with you what he actually said in his interview about weightlifting. So in today's video, I'll share with you first what Ichiro said in his interview about muscle hypertrophy training, and then the secret of his stretching. So he was doing some kind of stretching before going to the batter's box. What was he doing? What was the purpose? And one thing he prioritizes in his exercise. And finally, how this Ichiro secret can help you increase your health span. So please watch the video until the end. Now, those of you who just discovered this video today, this is the Ikigai Diet channel, which is a health and longevity channel. Usually, we cover diet, exercise, mindset, and sometimes we cover Japanese blue zones because there are several blue zones in Japan other than Okinawa, and we cover from traditional Japanese health method to modern Japanese health trend such as Chokatsu. So basically, this is a channel about how to increase health span for people over 50 or 60. So if you're interested, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Okay, so what Ichiro said in his interview about muscle hypertrophy training. So he was interviewed some years ago about his exercise routine, and he said clearly that he didn't like weightlifting and he doesn't recommend weightlifting to other young baseball players. So today, I'll share with you what he actually said in his interview. By the way, you can watch this video. You can find this video on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description box, and then you can actually get the translation. I think when you press this CC, I think you can get the subtitle, English subtitle, so you understand what he is saying. All right. So he said, excessive muscle building could decrease swing speed and flexibility. In fact, his swing speed decreased after doing weightlifting. So just like other Japanese baseball players who moved to the major league, Ichiro did some weightlifting in the beginning because usually Japanese players are smaller than American players, and then in order to compete in the major league, they need to be bigger, they need to be stronger. So many of them are encouraged to do a kind of weightlifting type of muscle hypertrophy training. So he did that too, and he got bigger. But he discovered his speed decreased. His speed, swing speed, and running speed, and throwing speed, and everything, and flexibility got kind of stiffer and thing. And then, so when he stopped weightlifting, his speed increased and his flexibility improved. So in many ways, not doing weightlifting improved his performance as a baseball player. And he says overdeveloping muscles without considering the body's natural balance could lead to injuries. So it's important that the muscles are developed according to your body size and the natural balance. So if you are big, such as Shohei Ohtani, he's massive. So for him, it doesn't affect much if he develops muscles because he's big. So probably it's okay for him. But player like Ichiro, if you overdevelop muscles, the muscle get too big and it could lead to injuries. And he said this is because muscle will get bigger, but the joints that support them can't be trained, and so they'll break. They won't be able to withstand the weight. Yeah, so when the muscle becomes big, it becomes heavy, and it becomes a strain on the joint and other things. So many people have this idea that building muscle can help you increase your health span, but the very thing called muscle can become heavy and it can be the strain on your body if it is out of balance. So you need muscles, but only when they are in a balanced proportion with other essential structures like joints, tendons, and ligaments. Always consider these components as an interconnected system, not in isolation. That is Ichiro's point of view. So again, it depending on who you are, your body size and everything, and your purpose of training too. Ichiro is a field player, and he was not a home run batter. So to do his performance, probably this was the best. But if you're a home run batter or if you're a pitcher, maybe it's a different story. And I cannot speak about baseball exercises since I'm not an expert on this topic. But anyway, when you do this kind of exercise, you're building only one single muscle. So if you're using a lightweight, maybe it doesn't affect that much. If you're using a heavyweight, it can overdevelop one muscle out of proportion. So if you choose to do strength training, maybe it is better to do compound exercise like pull-up, where you train several muscles at the same time. In fact, that's how we usually move. We don't use only one single muscle to do a movement. We usually use multiple muscles when we run or when we carry things, when we lift, when we hang and stuff like that. So natural movement is always better in a way so that you never overdo. Yeah, that's the thing about natural movement is because our body is designed perfectly to conduct our daily tasks. So you never overdevelop one part of the body. All bodies are connected and they move in coordination. And especially unless you are targeting specific athletic performance, such as becoming a bodybuilder or like when you are doing something, you may need to develop a specific muscle more than other muscles and so on. But for longevity, for increasing your health span, you can work on several muscles all at the same time. There's no reason to optimize your muscle building training. That's the problem of the science of this optimization. Everybody wants to optimize, but you don't need to do that. You're not an athlete. You're just a regular old person who want to stay healthy, and just any kind of general exercise is fine. You don't need to think of it, scientifically most efficient way of, developing muscle in a shortest time and so on. All right. So what is Ichiro doing here? So obviously he's doing some kind of stretching, but what is the purpose of this exercise? Well, he says it is to increase hip mobility. So he is increasing hip joint mobility. In fact, he talks about hip joint mobility all the time. He values this a lot. And that is something he does the first thing in the morning in his exercise routine. So he does this BMLT exercise every morning. And these machines are designed to kind of work on your joint flexibility as well as muscles. So that is why he chooses those machines. But we don't have those machines, so we don't need to use those machines. But the idea is mobility of the joint, especially hip joint mobility, is critical. And this is wonderful for increasing health span. Hip joint mobility is something you can probably prioritize the most if you want to increase health span, because we are doing it to prevent from falling. And that is why you want to build muscle in the first place. But if you're doing it, you might as well increase hip mobility. And here is why increasing hip joint mobility can help prevent falls. Improved balance and stability. Good hip mobility allows for a wider range of motion in your legs and pelvis, which is essential for maintaining balance and stability when walking or moving around. When your hips are flexible, you can react more quickly and efficiently to changes in terrain or unexpected movement, reducing your risk of tripping or losing your balance. Enhanced coordination. Hip mobility is closely linked to coordination and body awareness. When your hips move freely, your body can better coordinate movements between your upper and lower body, improving your overall agility and reducing the likelihood of awkward movement that can lead to falls. Reduced risk of injuries. Stiff or restricted hip joints can increase the risk of falls and injuries, as your body may compensate by overusing other joints or muscles. By improving hip mobility, you can distribute the workload more evenly and reduce the strain on other areas, leading to better overall body mechanics and a lower risk of falls. Stronger muscles. Increasing hip mobility often involves strengthening the muscles that support the hip joint. Stronger muscles provide better stability and control, making it easier to maintain balance and prevent falls. Improved posture. Hip mobility is also linked to good posture. When your hips are flexible, it's easier to maintain proper alignment in your spine and pelvis, which can improve balance and reduce the risk of falls. So the idea is flexibility. So I shared with you this famous Bruce Lee's quote before, so I'll say it one more time. Notice that the stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or the willow survives by bending with the wind. So the flexibility is the key, and especially the flexibility of joint, the mobility of joint, hip joint and other joint. So work on joint mobility. And one good exercise is Taiso. And that is why we do Taiso in Japan a lot. Taiso is this kind of a dynamic stretching. And we have a one Taiso called Radio Taiso, and many people practice this. And this is a good exercise. And in Kyotango region, which has a concentrated number of centenarians. In fact, Kyotango has 3 times as many centenarians as the national average in Japan. And Japan itself has so many centenarians, but Kyotango has more than the Japanese average, and they do this Taiso. So they don't do strength training. I haven't seen many old people doing strength training in Japan, but many of them practice Taiso. I suppose you're not familiar with Taiso, but one thing that is close to Taiso and popular in the West is Qigong or Tai Chi. They are wonderful way of the whole body exercise. It's good for balance and good for mobility, flexibility. So I recommend that you practice Qigong. And there are specific exercises for hip joint mobility. Just search under hip mobility exercises, and you'll find many videos on YouTube. Okay, so for exercise in general, about cardio exercise, strength training, and stretching, and many other things, and how to optimize your exercise regimen, please read chapter 5, The Ideal Exercise to Increase Health Span, in my book, Live Wiser, Not Smarter. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya, the author of Live Wiser, Not Smarter. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. Do you ever do any hip mobility exercises? Thank you. Well, I will see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai!